If you're enjoying this podcast to the point where you're inspired to make your own, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Have you heard about Anchor by Spotify? It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, friends and family, strangers and acquaintances, my future children and my future self. New year, new month, new moon is what Lex and I are talking about on this entry. This is definitely for all the Team Jacobs out there. Maybe the furries too. Hey, I won't judge. We do not kink shame here. But yes, as the title implies, this is where the supernatural gets super-naturaler with the addition of the wolves. Hopefully you find this impactful. So, without further ado, let's go. All in. Lex!
Juan.
Where the hell you been, Loca? Nailed it. Got it this time.
Yeah, you got it this time.
I got the right movie.
Yeah, perfect timing.
So if you couldn't tell, we are now moved on to New Moon, the second book/movie in the Twilight series, saga, whatever you want to call it. Initial thoughts on New Moon when you first read it, when you first saw it?
Well, both things, both the book and the movie, I was like, oof. This is a rough one.
Well, we're both Team Edward, so
yeah.
This is definitely a Team Jacob book movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely Team Jacob. But, I mean, besides that piece of it, it's just very, like, hard to watch and hard to listen.
Right.
You know, and hard to read. Like, the depressive parts, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause this is definitely where a lot of people point to a lot of the things that are problematic with Edward.
Yeah.
I'm sure with Jacob as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure with Bella as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of, I feel like it's among the Twilight community universally like the least favorite.
Yeah,
out of all of the
all
movies,
of
books.
I feel like I really think it depends too on your viewpoint, because I recently seen some people who, you know, they like New Moon, like they like it, it's like vibe, but I guess it's if you like the whole like melancholy-ness of it,
right?
Then I get it.
I'm sure different people relate to it in different ways. Like if someone's going through that,
then they get it.
Then they're gonna like,
you
know, naturally like be inclined towards New Moon.
Exactly.
So, and that's not to say that we can't find any positive things to say about it. I'm sure I will point out a lot of the changes that I liked from Twilight to New Moon, and obviously vice versa. But before we roll the movie, I did not tell you I wanted to do this.
Oh,
I'm gonna kind of spring something on you.
I don't like surprises.
It's nothing like serious.
Okay.
So don't be like, Juan, what the fuck are you doing? No. So I'm a big fan of Markiplier. And he has a podcast called Distractable that he does with his friends Bob and Wade. They like to talk about different topics and sort of gamify it. And I was listening to one of their episodes called The Bait Debate, where they tried to Mark is kind of hosting it, and the other two are kind of competing. And his premise for the game, quote unquote, is to take a fandom of some sorts and say something that will like bait like that community. Like I think the first one they started off with was Harry Potter, and I think it was Wade that was like, oh, magic isn't real, and just things that would get a rise from the community.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can see where this is going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put something on real quick.
All right, here's an easy target. Twilight. Wade, you're up first, but take your time to think about it. Twilight. It's the punching.
I heard that and I was like,
of
oh no.
fandoms. It is. Sure is. As much as even I have watched all
Twilight's
the movies,
an easy
Amy
punching
loves
bag.
The
Yeah.
Twilight movies. I can't, but not because they're good. And I think this is a fandom that might be a little more self-aware.
I'm going to go the opposite route, and I'm going to go after everyone
Thank you, Wade.
who hates on Twilight, including myself here. I've never read the books. I've never seen the movies. But whenever people liked Twilight, God, it was so easy, such a big, strong move to jump on the bandwagon of fucking pussy shits that were afraid to say anything and actually go watch it because the cool thing to do was to hate on it. Wow, look at you. You're so tough. Never gave it a chance, but oh man, better love story.
This is unironically how I feel.
Laugh it off because you're in the popular crowd. You just walked right on over, and somebody enjoyed something and had the dare to enjoy something that other people criticize. Easier to hate on them and pick on the little guy. Oh, it makes you such a big, strong person, doesn't it? No, you're a bitch. Give it a chance. Watch it. Read it. Don't just jump where the popular crowd is. My God. Way to take the easy route. Fucking lazy pieces of shit.
Damn.
I love the reverse bait angle because it reads just like a copied pasta. What the fuck did you say to me, you little shit? I'll have you know I'm an American sniper with over 300 confirmed kills. You sound exactly like that.
It's too easy to go after Twilight because that's all I've heard my entire life. So the more challenging bit for me was okay, what do we stand up for? I don't know. That was my muse, my inspiration. I went with.
All right, that's fair. Bob, do you have one?
Take your pick, dude.
I know a little bit about Twilight, but
fuck Twilight and all the things I've never read or seen.
Damn.
At the heart of a lot of discussions surrounding the Twilight franchise is the asinine debate between Team Edward and Team Jacob. It's not a debate. It's not even close. Edward is a piece of shit.
Fuck you,
Edward
Bob.
is controlling, domineering. Edward doesn't love Bella because he wants a life partner, companion, someone to share things with. He loves Bella because he thinks he can manipulate her. He thinks he can control her.
False.
He thinks that she will do whatever he wants. He's a prick.
Welcome to real life relationship, Disney princesses.
I realize I'm taking the bait,
You are.
but I don't give a fuck.
That should have been made was whether or not to ever speak to Edward again, because they did have a child, and I know that whole thing is weird. Jacob is who Bella belongs with.
Ooh. I
Jacob
think they're
is
equally
the one
kind of
who cares.
shitty,
He's
personally.
warm. Also, he turns into a dog, which is adorable. And not only does he defend, he protect, whatever, he also attack. He's big, he's scary. He can save her. He can keep the family safe. Edward is an asshole, plus cold like the vampire he is on the inside.
You convinced me. Team furries.
All right, so
Team
Bob, that was
furries.
wonderful because not
Oh
only
my
was it
God.
targeted, not only did you pick the underdog literal side, you also came at it from a place of ignorance and you dug your heels in and made old meme references. It hit so many of my criteria for good bait that you'd be debating if you wanted to. You'd have a thread of comment replies in Reddit 100 comments deep.
All by
Damn.
me. All by me.
For Twilight.
All right.
I went after more people.
I want to jump in with.
I went after more people. Wow.
So, okay, so that was the gist of that portion. And when I was listening to it this week, I was like, "Oh, this is going on to our podcast. This
That's
is
really funny.
this little bit because I didn't know it was coming, and then when Mark was like, "All right, here's an easy one, Twilight," I was like, "Oh, fuck, here we go."
Yeah.
Yeah, I took the bait. I don't care. I love Twilight. Fuck you. Just kidding. You're a nice person. No. So what did you think of that?
Oh, that was good. I thought it's a funny concept. Also, I have said numerous things that baited you about Twilight. like in the past.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Or like, or even better yet, in the last episode where we talked about cinema therapy, they talked about a lot of things that baited you.
Well, hold on. There's a difference between triggering and baiting. Baiting
Yeah, I
is
guess
like
that's
you're
true.
doing it on purpose to get a rise out of someone.
Yeah.
Triggering is like, if you might actually truly say or believe something that you're saying.
Exactly,
and
but
it
it
just
still
so happens
to trigger somebody. Yeah, that's true.
So, but cinema therapy, I don't think they baited me. They might have triggered me.
Yeah.
But nothing that like I could super argue with someone who filmmakes and legitly does therapy.
Yeah, it's also like not arguments that people haven't made before. Like these are common arguments.
Right, and you said they both read the books, and when they were doing,
I think
the video.
just one of them has read the books.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
okay. Well, that's still like,
But they both see the
more.
movies.
That's still like more like credibility.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to speak on the story than someone who just has seen the movies, has seen the memes, and is just jumping on the hate bandwagon.
And I think honestly, like, at least from like a therapeutic standpoint, I don't think you necessarily need to read all of the books to, make an assessment on like the characters and like if they're okay or what's going on with them.
Yeah, because the films do capture their essence.
Yeah. And really it's like, that's the thing. Because I know that they said in their episodes that the books aren't really what they're going at here. Like it's cinema therapy, right? Not like literature therapy. So,
Right.
So it's like they're really like analyzing the movie pieces of it.
Right. All right. I think it's time to roll the tape, start the movie, and let's go all in. I remember I was so excited to watch this in theaters because this is like the first movie that I know what's going to happen because I've read the books.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm actually not sure how far I was when I saw New Moon. I might not have read Breaking Dawn yet. I was excited to see the Volturi, Volterra.
I think Kristen Stewart looks really pretty here. Yeah, I like the shirt she's wearing. And her hair is really pretty.
I like how many buttons are on button.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I'm sorry.
Also, green looks really nice on her.
Yeah. I think brunettes look good in green.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting scene where she thinks she's seeing her grandmother, but
Is
she's
this in the
actually
book?
seeing herself.
I feel like
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite this setup, but it's similar.
Yeah.
She has a dream about it.
Well,
Edward, don't. She'll see you.
yeah, this is oh wait, in the book or in the movie? Because this is a dream too.
This is a dream, but like the dream's different, I think.
Oh,
in the book.
okay. Is this what you wanted, Edward? To be with her when she's that old and you're still 17-year-old you?
I really never understood his logic there because, like, if that were to be the case, like, what would Bella just when she dies inevitably?
Yeah,
like,
now what?
Is Edward just gonna like, go to the Volturi and have him end everything? Like, I just don't. What's your logic?
Yeah.
I thought we agreed.
How'd you get so old so fast?
I didn't. It's not that old.
True. In hindsight, it's not
Yeah.
that old.
Meanwhile, Charlie is like triggering her
That's
like
a funny.
completely.
Yeah. That's a funny little bit. Him saying that she had a gray hair and
Yeah.
making her freak out. I had grays in high school. Didn't bother me.
Your grays aren't really all that noticeable.
Yeah, you'd have to look straight at the top of my head because
Yeah.
that's where they are, and they're small.
Wherefore art thou, Bella?
Nice, Mike.
He just sounds like Ara there.
Yeah.
I take them. I'm not in them.
No.
Come on, Angela, be in them.
Yeah, you're the best one.
Yeah.
She wants to remember you most.
I think in the last episode you said Edward made Volvos look sexy,
Oh yeah.
and he definitely
This
does.
basically looks like a commercial.
Yeah. Drive home today in the latest Volvo.
It really does look like a fucking commercial. It's insane.
Maybe I shouldn't be dating such an old man. It's gross. I should be thoroughly repulsed.
A lot of people literally think that. Like, actually think that.
That's true. But it's like, he's not. Like, he's biologically 17.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on.
Someone wants you. Bella.
Of course.
Jacob.
Your dad told my dad.
I like how Edward's like, I'll leave you two alone. He's
Yeah,
staring.
he's
He's staring right at them.
He's like 10 feet away. Steph's still within earshot. Doesn't need to use his
Yeah.
mind reading capabilities. Could just
He literally,
look at him. He's in the middle of the frame.
right? He literally could have just like walked away a little bit more and like still, if anything were to happen, he would still be there quicker, like than anybody else.
I thought I was opening presents. I've already seen you open it, and guess what? You love it.
That's unfair, Alice.
But Alice's existence is just
Come on, please.
OP.
yeah.
Just, she really is.
Here we go. We get the first
Okay.
exposure to Jasper's abilities to control
exactly.
emotions.
I think Jasper, his look here is cute.
Fair with the
Yeah.
control thing.
Sorry, Bella.
Happy. Never mind.
Never mind.
Can't trust vampires. Trust me.
They're a little too open with this right now, like,
Yeah, like what the hell? Would someone heard that?
right?
This moment coming up, I've always dreamed of this. Like where like I'm not paying attention, and the teacher tries to call me out on it, and I just fucking I fucking own them by being like, oh, I wasn't paying attention, but I know the material.
Exactly.
Out of sheer stupidity.
It's pretty hysterical. Cause
Granted, yeah, Edward has like so much like practice, or like he's been through this so many times.
yeah, like how many times has he watched this?
Oh my. Fun little aside. They're watching Romeo and Juliet, and there's a version I watched in high school. I think it was like 1968. That is when it came, or something like. I might be getting the date wrong, but the actors were minors at the time, and they actually filmed some nude scenes. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I watched this version.
Okay. Oh, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I watched the Leonardo DiCaprio version, and I watched
Me too.
that
I watched that
version.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like this came out like 4 days ago, like not even a week ago. They are
If I get you on time,
suing
I had to come up with
for the nude scenes that
Oh,
they did when they
wow.
were minors, and
That's crazy.
citing child abuse or something.
Damn.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
nothing but to worry.
Mr. Cullen.
Yes, Mr. Birdie.
Even if he didn't have practice, even if he hadn't gone through this like tens of hundreds of times, or like I don't know how many times he's gone through this, but he can still read minds.
Oh yeah.
So he can read what the right answer is from his mind. Oh, Edward's so OP. They're all OP, yo.
Dateless bargain to engrossing death.
Yeah, that's right. Could fuck teach.
And the law. Above all the law.
Interesting that though.
Vecna.
Back down. It's like they respect arts and sciences and laws,
But not
and-
human life. It's
but
just
not
like
human
they're-
life.
That's what.
It's like that's the basis of the
Right.
creation. Like
Another fun fact I'm going to bring up: the guy who just put on a robe on Aro, I think you know this, but like he actually like won a contest to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
in the film, and
I think
that
you told
was
me
his role.
that,
I think
actually.
that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
what I would give for that to be me.
I think Marcus's backstory
You want to die.
is really sad.
Which one's Marcus again? I
Marcus
forget.
is the one with brown hair.
Okay.
The one that looks sad all the time.
Yeah.
That's Marcus. And yeah, I think his story is real sad
Gotta stop talking about that.
because it's like
Think.
he had a partner and then his partner died, and that partner was also Arrow's sister, but Arrow killed her. Yeah.
Oh fuck! I
It's-
did not remember that.
Yeah, it's very it's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, that's why you're the book expert.
I could protect you. If you change me.
Not wrong. She could protect you if you changed her. Mm-hmm. We see that in Breaking Dawn.
But it's my job to protect you.
I think part of their relationship, like part of this some parts of it like
It's time, it's time, it's time.
are just so like annoying to watch because you're like, bro, like, just listen to her.
Yeah.
You know?
They an older woman.
Wow, Emmett.
What?
Be careful, Bella. Be careful. Be careful. What I tell
First
you, Bella?
off, that's a giant fucking cut for her to get.
Yeah. And for me, paper cuts don't immediately bleed out.
Yeah, like, that looks like a legit cut. Like, you cut yourself with a knife or something.
All right, I've heard the argument that he shouldn't have pushed Bella away like that.
No,
'cause-
no. Like, I totally get why he did, but, bro, like, you hurt her more doing that. Nobody can control themselves except for Carlisle.
And Edward a little bit.
Bella's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
You have a medical degree. So does Edward. So does Rosalie, I think.
Jasper. Jasper hasn't been away from human blood as long as the rest of us.
I like how Carlisle just has all these instruments available.
Yeah.
Years and years of practice.
Carlisle, you couldn't be damned. You couldn't.
Yeah, Carlisle's the epitome of like a good person.
Yeah.
Gracious.
They don't talk about that much, but Carlisle did come from a religious family. And they don't really talk about religion like abruptly like in Twilight at all, but like the themes are there. That's for sure.
You can't protect me from everything.
No,
True.
Bella.
At some point, something's gonna separate us.
Yes, true. But these are bad words to be saying to Edward right now. If only you knew what he's about to do.
Yeah.
Age. And the only solution is to change.
Bella's pretty logical here though. Like
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, Edward is a little blinded by his own feelings.
yeah, his own experience, really.
Yeah.
Definitely brings up some questions though of like, you know, how Edward believes if, you know, if he were to die or like how, you know, other vampires can die, right? So it's like you don't have any control over becoming a vampire more than likely.
Right.
So it's like, why would you be condemned for like a choice that wasn't yours to make? Like, I would say most vampires didn't choose to be vampires, right? Bella's
Right.
kind of an outlier.
Right.
And like they're actively trying to not hurt people.
Yeah. Him saying "I love you" back to her is it's
so sad though, knowing what's gonna happen.
Knowing- yeah.
Like, that's heart wrenching.
yeah.
Kind of sad. Like, why does she just like? Why does she fold the picture over? Why?
Yeah.
Like, it's
She didn't
weird.
want to see herself.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Edward, don't take the picture away. Come
Right?
on.
I know that was
Come on.
that was pretty rough of him to do that.
The only logical thing I can think of is like if they really have to erase all evidence that they were ever there.
That's
I
like
get it.
yeah, that's like the only thing, but it's that's very flimsy, I'd say, because it's like people will still remember them. You know, what are
Yeah.
they gonna do? Kill every human that remembers them? You have to kill the entire population of Forks.
Carlisle's supposed to be 10 years old and he looks. People are starting to notice.
He's a doctor. He has really good plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
He's also fucking rich. Perfect.
When you say we,
I mean my family and myself.
It's like I can feel like Bella's like anxiety right
Yeah.
now that like realizing like what's
Yeah.
happening.
it's nothing.
Kristen Stewart did a good job with this scene, I think.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
You just don't belong in my world, Bella.
Ugh. Then make her a part of your world.
Part
You
of
stupid boy.
your world.
I don't want you to come.
I can see how this is a breaking point for people who don't like Edward.
Yeah. It also
This
doesn't
is-
help that like in they elaborate on this more in Midnight Sun, and it's even more fucked up.
Yeah, this
Like,
But if it's not too much.
this hurts to watch.
yeah, because this is painful to watch now, but fuck, in Midnight Sun, like he's been planning this since since Bella was in the hospital. Like this whole time. Like, so this is like for Edward a long time coming.
And I'll promise something to you in return.
And just really fucked.
This is the last time you'll ever see me.
That's definitely not true.
And right, and this is where like
This is about my soul.
I don't know why that promise would be appealing to Bella.
Exactly. And it's just, once again, Edward not taking Bella into consideration really at all.
Fair. I will give you that. That is something he doesn't do well, and
Yeah, like
you know, I wish he did better.
I don't know if this is Bella and Edward at their most toxic, but it's certainly very toxic. Like
Yeah.
their
I
whole
can feel every
dynamic
breath
here.
Bella is taking.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't like that he like kisses her and then like runs away and like leaves her in the fucking woods. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would have like ran her back to her room or something.
Yeah, because like, you know Bella, like, she's not particularly like graceful. Like, she's probably gonna hit her head and die out there. Like,
Yeah.
or get lost, which she does.
'Cause, see, this like takes like a bad breakup and like almost like magnifies it.
Yeah, it like
100%.
amplifies it.
It amplifies it, right? Because when you go through a breakup, like you're losing someone.
Mm-hmm.
This is like he's trying to erase his existence from her life, make it.
Yeah, it's next
be like
level
he never existed.
problematic. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
So not only are you losing someone, now it's like it's not like you can see them around and like you're just not together. Like you just don't see him ever.
Mm-hmm. And in a way that's like somewhat gaslighty even.
I was gonna say yeah.
Because it's like, because then eventually, I guess, depending on like what kind of level of like psychosis like you're in, you could think like, oh, did I just make them up?
Exactly.
Like-
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, was I so lonely that I just made them up?
Yeah. So I have to question if you know what's real.
Yeah, exactly. Bella definitely could have used some therapy in this one, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she definitely could have used some therapy. It's interesting that this is like the introduction to like the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
That like Sam finds her and picks her up.
Yeah.
Charlie.
At least this makes sense why Charlie's here. Oh, I
Yeah.
think there was one cop. They have a budget for one more cop.
Thank you, Sam.
This part is so iconic from the movies, the books, where well, especially in the books where you just
Yeah.
see pages that say one word on it,
Yeah.
and it's a month,
Yep.
and that I thought that was a really cool way to show that like
The passage of time.
the passage of time,
Yeah.
and like the emptiness you feel from just that's all you see.
Yeah, that
Just
was
the word October.
really well done.
November, December.
It's also interesting, like cinematically, like in the movie.
Right, I was just gonna say this is one continuous shot.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're in front of a green screen
yeah,
for that window
yeah,
because it's just simultaneously changing seasons as the camera keeps panning.
yeah. It's really cool. It's a good way to show like how I think like how depression kind of feels sometimes.
Yeah.
And she has like night terrors, like that's awful. Charlie's so sweet, like trying and checking on her.
Charlie's amazing.
Charlie's like a pretty good dad. Like he's now sleeping on the couch, like so he can be closer to her.
Quite frankly, it's scaring the hell out of me. And your mother.
Therapy.
I don't want I know, but just go.
You know, therapy wasn't widely like accepted. Even still not really. Today.
Yeah, I mean-
it's more, but it's not.
But it's just like so overtly
It's like not even
obvious.
part. Right.
Like-
it's not even part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Go shopping.
Girls' night. Shopping.
Shopping.
Go buy some stuff.
Go buy-
He does the best he can with what he knows.
He does. He really does. He tries.
And that's what's so lovable about him. It's
yeah.
like
Hi, Jessica. It's
the lack of
Charlie-
effort is or he does have effort. He puts an effort.
Yeah, he puts an effort. More effort than Renee, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like Renee raised her for a really long time, but Renee is not only relatively absent, but basically like fucking off with her like new husband. So
Phil.
yeah, fucking Phil. I think it's an interesting like Jessica, like Bella chooses to be with Jessica over Angela because Angela would be like more concerned about Bella
Yeah.
versus like Jessica, who was clearly just talking about her own problems.
Yeah. Now, how like real is that? Like her, almost like hallucinating Edward. Is that you think something that was? I mean, I know it's got to be in the books too, but like in the movies,
she doesn't hallucinate like seeing things. She hears things. She hears his voice. It's not like a see. She doesn't hallucinate him physically.
Okay.
But she hears his voice when she's in danger.
Okay.
But here it's like voice and like an embodiment of Edward.
Right.
Are you asking like how realistic it is? Like
is that a thing that happens in like people who have like severe depression?
I don't know if that's really like 100% like a depressive thing. I think I've heard that more like with say things like schizophrenia, like things like that. But I mean, could you have a psychotic break and hallucinate? Oh yeah, I'm sure you could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm sure it doesn't need to be tied to like necessarily one mental illness versus another. At least to his credit, this guy stops.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Accurate.
Curious?
Just curious. Just curious. Yeah, that was kind of bad on Bella's part. Not only did she go off with some random ass dude alone, she left Jess like behind.
Yeah.
It's like Jess like doesn't love Bella, but also like doesn't want anything bad to happen to Bella.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's like a true acquaintance.
yeah, for real.
Then that's what I'll find.
It's like I don't want to see you hurt, but I also don't like care that much about you. It's like damn.
Bella. Where the hell have you been, Loca?
Oh my god.
There it
So
is.
meme-ified.
So yeah, so memed.
Since when are you into motorcycles?
Since now.
I mean, it's a hobby.
I get it if you think that this is
She's getting a
really
hobby.
stupid and
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely stupid.
It is rooted in trying to see Edward again.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not like the healthiest, but you know, it's something. It's
Right.
a start.
a hobby nonetheless.
Yeah. Also, Jake becomes her new hobby
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm. That's the real hobby right there.
Yeah. It sucks because Jake's character is like pretty wholesome in the beginning and like pretty sweet and seems like a good friend, and then he gets kind of gross.
Jake, you're like buff.
It's the wolf
You're
things.
like 16. I don't get it.
I just think it's honestly toxic male things.
Wow. Right. If we're, yeah, real talk, it is.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah. This is roughhousing.
I've literally seen Bill and Donovan do that,
Yeah. Yep.
and I'm just like, okay, what the?
He makes me feel alive.
Do you feel like if Edward just stayed away, she would have ended up with Jake?
I think it's possible, yeah. Because a lot of the weirdness probably wouldn't have happened and they may have not even, like Jacob may have not even phased because the whole thing with phasing is like the vampires are around and like there are no longer any vampires around really.
Mm-hmm.
But even
So,
keep the dreams away.
you know, Jake may have not even have phased.
Right.
So they could have just had like a normal life potentially. Charlie's so nice.
We stand Charlie.
Like he's not perfect, but he's a good dad.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta learn to love what's good for you. You know what I mean?
That's actually good advice, Charlie.
Of course, what do I know? I'm just a terminal bachelor.
Oh, Charlie. You're not just a terminal bachelor.
You can't say that Billy Burke did not like do great in this role, like, you know.
Oh, he fucking killed it.
Now all of a sudden he started following Sam around like a little puppy.
Kind of like foreshadowing.
Right, and I can definitely see how that sounds cultish.
Yeah. Wow.
And she's off.
Yep.
It's a tight race.
Jake is like, the way he looks when she like speeds off, he's like, was this a good idea? I don't.
Yeah,
like,
instant regret.
He looks so unsure.
It's just blood, Bella. No big deal.
Mm-hmm. No big deal. Those abs are a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And really, it matters more that you're hurt. Like,
right. But look at the stark contrast between this event and then what happened with the Cullens. I'm sure in Bella's mind right now,
You're so beautiful.
it's
it's like night and day.
right. It's like night and day.
Yeah.
How hard did you hit your head?
Not hard enough, Jake.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you wanted to go.
Mike,
see a movie.
are you kidding me
Give it
right
up,
now?
Mike. Give it up.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do.
She looks and sounds very sure.
Yeah.
See, we could check out.
I like how Mike's like, I asked her on a date, and then Bella's like, let's invite everyone.
So many hints, Mike. So many hints.
So awkward. She's like in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Look at their hands. Look at their hands.
Yeah.
So this is okay. That's a little cringy.
That's a little cringy. And like, literally, she looks.
Which hand do I take? No
Mike looks so uncomfy. Right away.
What a marshmallow. What? I can't hold your hand.
No, of course you can.
Mm.
I just
That's
think
a little.
It means something a little different to you.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing to do or say.
Mm.
You like me, right?
Well, for starters, why? The other dude that also likes her is in the bathroom right now, puking his stomach out. So maybe hold the fuck off on this serious conversation.
Yeah. You never know when you're gonna get interrupted.
And she also just kind of got out of a relationship with a guy that she really cared about. Like, maybe give her some fucking time.
Yeah, like
Like, it hasn't been that long.
I'm never gonna run right.
she needs time.
So I should be fair to you.
She, like, just got out of her depressive episode.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, don't hit on her right away.
Yeah.
I would never, ever do that.
Well, she thought he wouldn't do that either, so that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Awkward.
Impeccable timing,
Yeah,
Mike.
impeccable timing.
I need to go home.
No shit. Yeah, you do need to go home.
I was feeling sick before the movie.
Just go. You don't need to continue the conversation.
I don't know what's happening. I gotta go.
Y'all both need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is weird.
You're weird
You're
too.
one to talk, Mike.
Yeah, like you're also weird. So it's ironic because Jake's like, I would never do that to you, and then here he is like ghosting her.
I just wanted to hear your voice, so no pressure.
Like he has a reason, obviously, but you could make the argument that so did Edward. So
Right.
it's not necessarily a good reason. Because even Jake, like if Jake called and then like lied, that would have been a little bit better in this situation than just straight up ignoring her.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Go, me too.
Harry's like, yes.
He's like, I'm not standing for this bullshit.
Yeah.
My kung fu is strong.
You also know that they're not bears. They're
Yeah, exactly.
werewolves.
Yeah, exactly.
Kung fu is strong. My fucking ass, man.
Right.
Hate to say it, but you don't make it through this movie.
And they're not going to hurt you, so
Right, right.
they know who you are. Yeah, that looks like Jake mono, all right.
Yeah.
He's like walking in the rain shirtless.
I hate that this is like what happened with Edward just all over
Yeah,
again. Kind
exactly. And then like it goes from this to all of the men pushing her away to all of the men suddenly wanting her, which is like really fucking annoying.
But if you want somebody to blame,
And Bella's caught in the middle. Like, don't blame Bella. Like, it's like Jake says shit like that and then expects like Bella to care about him or love him or whatever the fuck.
of. Yeah.
So maybe chillax on your shitty behavior.
Yeah.
this is over.
You can't break up with me.
You weren't really together though. Like,
I mean,
I think she means like friend breakup. With her.
Yeah.
And this is me keeping that promise.
That's not how she's interpreting it.
She's definitely not how she's interpreting it, but he's also like, I get where he's coming from.
Right. It's similar to
Hard.
what Edward thinks.
Yeah,
but
it's similar to what Edward thinks. Yeah.
But it's unfair to her.
Yeah, it's definitely unfair. It's also one of those things where it's like, I get it. Like, you can't really tell all your secrets and whatever. But it's like, it's shitty because no one's keeping Bella in the loop.
Right.
And it's, especially with, like, the Cullens, it's particularly shitty. Because it's like, bro, she knows your fucking secret already. Like, she knows. Like, keep her in the fucking loop.
Yeah. How symbolic this is that everything's
Like, just
like
kind of
dead.
dried and dead.
Yeah,
and-
gray.
yeah, it's kind of like,
Whereas before there were flowers.
yeah. And then you see Laurent.
I went to visit the
I like how he's shirtless, but he has a blazer on.
Yeah.
house is
It's like, okay.
make it quick. I promise.
This is another instance where Bella could have became a vampire, technically.
Yeah.
Like, if Laurent didn't, like, actually kill her.
Right.
And just, like, tasted her blood.
Edward, I love you.
How do you feel about how the werewolves look? Because I know that a lot of people didn't think they looked, I don't know, werewolfy enough.
Well, I think it makes more sense when you get the context of them being, like, shapeshifters and not necessarily werewolves.
Yeah.
I think they look fine.
Yeah.
Like, do they just look like bigger versions of wolves? Yeah, but,
Yeah.
like, I don't mind that, really.
Yeah, I never minded that, but people just
Honestly,
for like the frivolous things to like hate on.
yeah. And they're so cute, honestly. Like, they're like big dogs.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to pet them.
Well, that's the thing that people don't like. is
Yeah,
that-
like, they're not scary enough.
yeah, they're like they lean towards dog-like than wolf-like.
Yeah.
At least that's what they say.
They're not bears.
What the hell were you doing out in the woods?
Poor Charlie's like, Bella, not again.
Yeah,
in the
for
woods.
real.
Fuck.
Exactly. Like, fucking Charlie's like, oh my fucking god, can you not? Like,
Yeah.
this whole time.
It's like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yep.
Sure, don't just
Harry's so
Harry-
awkward. He's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, go round up
I
your
can't
boys.
tell him the truth.
Laurent would have told.
Back up. I'm coming up.
I remember this was impressive to watch in the theaters. Like,
Oh,
people-
yeah. Because he makes it look so effortless.
I know, smooth like fucking butter.
If you ever had a secret, you couldn't tell anyone.
Yep.
Yeah, you would know, Jake.
Yours to share.
You would know that she does.
I think that's what he's doing. Like, I think he knows that already.
But worse.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should just get out of here for a while. Or just leave. Just you and me.
Damn, Jake, just take the offer.
I'm sorry, I really need to see him.
Bella?
Ballsy move.
Really ballsy.
Poor Jake. What the poor excuse for a bed?
Right?
Looks like a bench with a
Right?
pillow.
I mean, they're obviously very, like, poor.
Yeah.
What did you do? Hey, what did you do?
Pretty ballsy for Bella to come up to all these men and to slap them.
I think she's just done. She's
Yeah,
just done.
pretty
She's
much.
like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like how none of the other like wolves are like gonna help.
Yeah, literally none of them help.
This scene is always memed. It's always someone turning into like a little dog.
Right?
But I always thought the scene was so cool, like wolf on wolf action. Sounds like a furry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't the best one. Best line.
Yeah.
Is it possible that there isn't anything sane or normal at all?
I think this is a great way to do voiceover because since she's like writing to Alice.
Yeah, so you like how New Moon does it better than the first movie?
Yeah.
Come on in, Bella. You won't bite. Speak for yourself.
Huh. Let
More
her
men
process
just lusting
some of
over her.
this. Yeah, for real. It's like, let her freaking process some of this shit, man.
Yeah.
Sam's fiance. Don't stare. It bugs Sam.
At least that was good of him to warn her.
Yeah.
And the ladies first. Muffin?
Those muffins are huge.
They are.
Oh, and check it out. We can hear each other's thoughts.
Now in hindsight, I mean, I know it very much is like a wolf thing, the whole alpha thing, but now it's even more,
Can't really run with vampires.
I think, potentially dangerous because, like, you got men talking about how they're the alpha males.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just so toxic.
And there's also like subordinates, and
Yeah,
they literally cannot say things
yeah,
just because one person wants them to.
yeah. And if you're not the alpha male, you're nothing.
Exactly. I think like Sam and Emily are cute, but it's like, damn, like it sucks that like Sam was dating Leah and then imprinted on Emily,
Yeah,
and then you're like, fuck, and then Leah gets kind of left in the dust.
yeah,
And it makes it even worse because like Leah and Emily were like cousins and then also friends.
yeah.
So it's just like, that's shitty. It just makes Leah a really like sad character.
More of this walking away, into a nature area.
Yep.
I know what you are.
At least this is open.
Right.
You've killed people, Jake.
Bella, we're not.
That's jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, she's under the influence of people are dying to like a big bear attack.
Yeah.
So she thinks that it's now the wolves that are doing it.
Yeah.
Vampires.
And until right now, she doesn't realize,
Don't worry, we can't.
you know, what they
capture
actually
wolves.
are.
Collins took out that leech with the dreads easy enough.
Well, there was only one of him, and many of you.
Yeah.
Redheaded girlfriend is next. You know your lack of confidence in us is a little insulting.
Also, like they chased her, so
There you go.
Right.
they're aware that she's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kill.
Yeah, and it is different chasing her away versus her coming into their sort of territory and trying
Yeah.
to like be faster than them on the inside.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would trust the wolves.
Yeah. Why is it only Charlie?
He's got Harry now. Not for long. That's a cool shot. You can just see the red of Victoria's hair. And then boom, gone.
The push looks like a pretty area.
Oh, I really wanted to see her in Eclipse. Oh.
I know.
Rachel, I don't remember her last name. She looks so good here.
She really does. She captures like Victoria really well, I think.
I'm sure Charlie's just like, Billy, what the fuck happened?
Right?
I turned away for like a minute. That's like another cool shot, seeing the bird
Yeah.
in real, I guess, slow-mo real time as Victoria, and you can see that she's faster than it.
Yeah.
And now here come the wolves.
I feel bad for Charlie. Like he keeps losing his friends like every
I
time.
know.
I'm amazed Charlie hasn't had like a heart attack. Like with all the things that he's gone through.
I know. That poor man.
I feel like that would be really fun for about the 2 seconds that Bella came up and then like the waves hit her. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
This is a fucking miracle right here that she gets pulled out of this.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't even remember how it's explained in the books. Like, how did Jake find her?
I think it said that like he saw her jump,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know. I don't 100% remember that part. It's funny because I think like the parallels here are interesting because I feel like Edward is primarily taking care of Bella while Bella is primarily trying to take care of Jake.
Carline's car. Here, here.
This was a risk though.
It's a trick.
Yeah.
Stop. You gotta come with me.
I also find it weird that like how did
They won't hurt me.
she not notice that it was Carlisle's car before?
Well, she might not have not have seen it. She had to look out the back window, I think, to see
Okay.
it. That's fucking.
That's
creepy.
fucking terrifying, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see past you and your pack of mutts.
Don't.
You know, I just realized Jacob probably doesn't know that she can see the future.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he's probably just like, what the fuck are they on about?
Yeah, exactly. Like what the fuck's going on?
Are the rest coming back?
This is kind of neat to know for Jake's part, at least.
Oh shit! I never knew he said something in Quillette? How do you pronounce that word? I'm never good at it. Quillette?
I'm not 100% sure.
I never realized he said something right there until I read the subtitles.
Swan residence.
I wonder what he said.
Why the fuck does Jake answer her phone? Like,
Yeah. Well, like, what?
that's just kind of weird.
That's weird.
Edward fucking absolutely demolishes the phone.
Yeah.
Alice looking at Bella being like, can you believe him right now?
Like, how dare this mutt reach his arm into my vehicle?
Yeah.
I'm begging you.
New Moon is just sad. Like, you're sad for everyone involved.
Yeah,
And then, like,
it's
a
just
clip.
sad all around.
Yeah. And then once Eclipse comes, it's like, then it's like just mega, like, toxic everything. Like,
Yeah.
everything just fucking hits the fan and it's just shitty.
Join us. We would be delighted.
How do you think that initial conversation went? Like, Edward coming, being like, hey, I want to die. Like, and they obviously had to consider it.
You know what will happen.
Yeah.
Like, because they're like, well,
Such a waste.
I mean, I can see why they would not want to do it.
well, obviously.
But I can also see why they would do it given the right circumstance.
Yeah, which is why.
Which is what Ed was trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. But it's just funny to imagine that, like, Edward had to come and be like, hey, guys, I got some problems. And I don't want to live anymore. And they had to have a fucking meeting about it.
Well, it's Edward fucking Cullen.
Yeah. How distracting must that be for Alice? She's trying to drive and having a vision.
Oh. Well, yeah. She's also a vampire, though.
Yeah.
With senses that we can't even comprehend.
Yeah. But it also seems whenever Alice has a vision that she kind of, like, blacks out for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that seems particularly problematic when she's driving.
Yeah.
Commemorating the expulsion of vampires from the city. It's the perfect setting. The Volturi will never let him get
The
far.
irony.
Ironic, yep.
Bella's having a fucking anxiety attack right now.
Mm-hmm. For someone who's kind of notoriously, as you said, not very graceful, I think she does a good job running around trying to find this clock tower.
Oh, yeah. She actually
Yeah.
doesn't trip or anything. Kind of impressive.
And like, there's like that scene where it's like she jumps over like a fountain.
Oh, yeah. I think it's like when things are at stake, Bella can muster up the the ability.
It's that adrenaline
Yeah.
she's been junkying up on.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's just normal everyday shit, she'll just trip over everything.
Yeah. What do you think of the Volturi conceptually? I mean, I get it.
Oh, yeah. I think it's, in a lot of ways, it makes a lot of sense because, I mean, like, doesn't, like, every society need, like, a ruling faction, whether it's, like, a government or a monarchy or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most societies either have, like, that sort of thing or, like, it's a hierarchy of some sort. Because even, like, the wolves have their hierarchy, right?
Right.
So I feel like, yeah, conceptually, the Volturi make a lot of sense. And it also makes a lot of sense that, like, the most powerful of the powerful are going to be not only the ones in charge, but also be, you know, decently corrupt. Like, Auror's pretty corrupt.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a moment to point out this scene. I remember, like, the general consensus, like, when Edward first took his shirt off was like, yeah. I mean, at least the people around me, they were giving him shit for not being as muscular as Jacob, and I'm just like, come on. Saying things that, like, oh, they had to spray paint abs on him. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on. I mean, I know we're looking at it through 2023 eyes, and we have, you know, concepts like body shaming now to, like, help guide us through these thoughts, but
because literally, especially in New Moon, you're directly comparing Edward to Jacob here, like, body wise.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, like, and like, that's kind of like, I don't know, it's like such a minor thing in like reality, like in the you know, in like an actual relationship.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, like, being attracted to your partner matters, but, like, to center it up and be like, oh, then this person's hotter than this person. That's just sort of ridiculous and very shallow.
Yeah. Well, Edward, if you can't live in a world where she doesn't exist, then your only option is to change her at one point or another.
Exactly. Or like let her live out her entire life, which she doesn't want to do.
Right.
And then die. Which is like, what the fuck?
Edward, I love you, but your
logic's flawed.
Yeah.
Your logic is very flawed.
You need to see that you're wrong in this.
Yep. I think Dakota Fanning as Jane is perfect.
You like that?
I love
I know that
Dakota
was another
Fanning
thing
as
that was
Jane.
kind of meme that like.
Oh yeah. I understand that. Like, does Dakota Fanning look like Jane? No, she doesn't. But
Is Jane supposed to be like super young?
oh, she's supposed to be very young. Yeah, her and Alec both. They're supposed to be like 13 or something, 12, something like they're just.
Don't they go against the whole like no like vampire?
No, they don't. Because Aro waited until they were like, I guess, legally vampire age. To like
Aro made them?
Yeah, I don't know if Aro turned them, but I remember Aro knew that they would have some sort of powers because they had powers like as humans, and then like changed them.
This elevator scene's so awkward.
Oh, this elevator scene's hysterical. And like fucking like Dakota Fanning with her like ridiculously red contacts here is just like so entirely jarring and like
this whole movie, like
setting.
the contacts are way more
vibrant
and apparent than they were in the first movie. Just because like that blue filter really like desaturated a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, also this part really fucked up, where like Bella's like, is she human? And then like the receptionist.
Yeah.
And like basically they just fucking like potentially kill people.
Yeah.
And also like the receptionist is just completely fine knowing that these are vampires and that at any moment she could die. That sounds like a very stressful job.
Yeah.
What a happy surprise.
Bella's alive after all.
He's so good in this role.
He's so good. Underrated performance. Underappreciated performance.
Very underrated. I do think something that's interesting is that a lot of the like Aro and Caius and Marcus, like Marcus looks older, but Caius and Aro look pretty young, I would say. Older than most of the vampires you see, but still pretty young, right?
Yeah.
Where like I think Aro and Caius are both supposed to be like kind of on the older side in terms of like looks.
Right.
Of like vampires. I would love a spin-off for the Volturi.
Yes.
Like, how did the Volturi become the Volturi?
Yes.
You know? Because Aro had to be created at one point or another, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what happened? How did that happen?
This may hurt just a little.
Except it doesn't. At least she warned her. That was something. Bella's like, what's going on?
She's like, I feel nothing. And Arrow here is just having a ball.
Yeah, Aro's like having a fucking field day over here. I guess in hindsight, it was kind of obvious that Bella was a shield, but like, you just didn't think about that as like a prospective power.
You didn't know. Yeah, you know what that was.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, given that she's like immune to, I guess she's immune to like, well, maybe not, because like Edward's power is like mental.
Yeah. I like the fast motion scenes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the best in New Moon.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. Like they really like look good. And I don't know.
They
like
look
my
really
favorite
good.
rendition.
They don't look clunky at all.
Yeah. Like I thought this whole sequence
Also, that guy is
cool.
huge.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Dimitri? He's the enforcer, I think.
Aro called him Felix. I don't know.
Felix? Maybe, yeah, that's probably his name, Felix.
I'm pretty sure in some series he actually played the Master Chief.
Well, that's cool.
That's how fucking big he is.
Damn.
Something about Aro, I I like.
I like Aro too. Like as a character, he's perfect. Like he's
intriguing.
He's intriguing. He's very intriguing. Because on the surface, he's very nice, but he's also very calculated in like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Bella will be one of us.
The golden contacts in here for like the Cullens are like beautiful.
Yeah.
They're such a nice color.
Mm-hmm.
Your gifts will make for an intriguing immortal.
That way to be really fucking creepy. Aro, like, what the fuck?
Isabella. I think he would play a good Joker.
Yeah, he would be like a great Joker. Caius is like the most fucking useless one of them. Like, so useless.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be slower than all of them.
Yeah. At least Marcus is like, you get it.
I kind of wish he had a scene where like you see him, he's like super fast, and you're just like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
Because literally every time, like his whole fucking personality is like, when can we kill something? Like that's his fucking whole personality.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I left was because I thought I was protecting you.
Didn't think that one through, huh? I honestly think, like, in a lot of ways, Edward leaving created more problems for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, New Moon, like, then all the complications with Jacob start there. And then, like, Bella finally, gets back together with Edward. And, like, they make their decision to be together no matter what. And then it's, like, Jacob is sitting here pissed off because he didn't really get, like, a proper shot with Bella. Like, that kind of thing. And, like, then he proceeds to never leave her the fuck alone. Like,
yeah.
Dad, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, last time you said that, you took off.
Oh, poor Charlie. Oh,
Charlie.
My heart breaks for him.
I know. Like, Twilight and New Moon, just the whole Twilight saga from Charlie's perspective is just like Charlie getting hit in the gut too many times and then being just utterly confused.
Yeah.
Like he does not know what the fuck's going on like 95% of the time.
Yeah. But even in all that, he still doesn't like super pry.
No, he keeps, he's like concerned, but he kind of keeps that like, not like under wraps, but like doesn't want to like bug Bella too much.
Yeah.
He's not gonna forgive me easily.
No. Definitely not. Obviously.
Some of the Twilight fandom doesn't forgive you, Edward.
Yeah, for real.
I honestly don't know how to live without you.
You should have figured that out before.
Yeah, like why the fuck did you leave?
Decide to leave?
Stupid boy.
Oh my.
Boy is dumb. Like no matter what species. Like
yeah, good thing he looks like that though. Oh my fucking god. Sorry.
Was this like your first like man crush?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Bella.
Alice?
I already consider you my sister.
Alice was like the easiest one.
Yeah.
Like, of course
That's
you know
why-
what she's gonna say.
I'm sure that's why she picked her first.
Oh, Jasper.
It'd be nice to not want to kill you all the time.
That's still a
That's
yes.
still a yes.
Still a yes.
And I wish that there had been someone to vote no for me.
That's a very respectable answer.
That is a respectable answer. I understand Rosalie's perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Although Emmett
Emmett,
completely like
Emmett.
undermines her.
I'll try some other way.
I already consider you a part of the family.
Oh, and then charming Esme.
Esme's adorable. I love her.
Why are you doing this to me?
Are you kidding me?
You know what this means.
It's not all about you.
Leaves me no choice.
I want you to be the one to do it.
You got plenty of other vampires that would be willing to.
Mm-hmm.
You stay the hell out of my head.
You kind of can't do that, though. You can't, like, shut it off.
Yeah.
I know you have something to say to me, but I'm here now. I'm not gonna leave her side until she orders me away.
There's a bit of humility there with Edward.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
like Edward's not a bad person. He's just, like,
Misguided a little
yeah,
bit.
very misguided. Same with Jacob. Like,
Yeah. There's
they're
a lot
both pretty misguided.
Yeah.
And you're also working within the confines of, like, the supernaturalness that you see here.
That and also, well, Edward has another layer of like his time period.
Yeah, that is
those morals, values.
Yeah,
and
that's
values.
true. And I also feel like that's hard because, like, yeah, like you can make the argument that Edward's like morals and values like get in the way, which they certainly do.
Yeah.
But it's like how much of that is like I don't know. It's hard because like he has so much time to have changed, right? And like see how like the world has changed and everything. But then it's like, you know, he was part of a time period that was very, very different.
Yeah.
Like even more different than, you know. But then that's hard to say, right? Because Carlisle has certainly adapted, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. But also, it's like different people are
Yeah.
different.
Oh, and Carlisle was a bit older as well.
Yeah.
Like I think Carlisle is like 23, 24, something like that. So he's a little bit more mature, a little bit older. Where Edward's like literally 17. So, and all that, you know. How smart was anybody at 17, you know?
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't give him a pass, but like it helps you understand it a bit more. It's like Jacob's right there.
Yeah.
Like that.
He shouldn't be speaking for her.
Yeah, but also like Jacob does some toxic things and tries to put like feelings onto Bella when she doesn't feel them,
Yeah, yeah.
or at least not in the same way.
And it's kind of like the same thing as like nice guy TM. It's like, I did
Yeah,
all these nice things for you.
yeah,
Yeah, trying to like cash that in.
yeah, exactly. I feel like Jacob does do a little bit of that, and also I feel
So
like
many guys do.
yeah, I feel like he just like the core of it, like the core emotion. I think is like he feels like he deserves a shot, and
Yeah.
he wasn't given it.
Yeah.
But like it still doesn't excuse like all the shitty behavior that like
Yeah.
follows.
Yeah.
Just like Edward leaving, like him coming back and like protecting Bella and being with Bella doesn't excuse the fact that he left and his shitty behavior. I feel like another problem too here is that like Edward doesn't really give her a very good reason as to why
Why what? Why not?
why to wait.
Oh.
Like what? Well, yeah, and to why not? Like why not become a vampire? But also, like to why wait to become one? Like none of his reasons are very good.
So stubborn.
What are you waiting for?
Exactly. What are you waiting for?
I have one condition.
Answer her
If
question.
you want me to do it myself, marry me, Bella.
Here's where like I don't know why Bella wouldn't say yes immediately to that. I know like she doesn't really think highly of marriage,
Yeah.
but if that's the condition in order to get what she wants, like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's where like the time period conflict comes in,
mhm.
right? Because it's like Bella's idea of marriage is really just tied directly to like Charlie and Renee,
Yeah.
basically, and how like their marriage didn't work out, and they got married young.
So you think it's like almost like a bad omen if like they were to get married?
I think maybe that, but also I just think it influences like how Bella thinks about marriage,
Yeah.
you know, and well, Edward thinks it's like the epitome of like, you know, your declaration of love, essentially.
Yeah. I'm just saying that like if she doesn't think so highly of it, then it should still be like, you know, just nothing. Like, oh, this wedding is for him, and you know, well, I'll cash in on my
yeah, and I think
immortality and
that's
exchange.
ultimately where she lands, though, because she doesn't really
eventually, yeah.
care that much about like the wedding or anything,
Yeah, yeah.
or like the ring or like anything like that. She just kind of wants to be with Edward. Really, the wedding is for Alice and for Edward. Like, you know,
oh yeah, it's for Alice.
like Alice creating a wedding is like her. Well, that's what she literally lives for. So I don't know. And like I have less of a problem with that, I guess, because I think you can see both sides of the coin pretty easy. Because Edward's kind of being unreasonable by not changing her. And then I don't really think Bella's being that unreasonable when it comes to like the marriage thing. But it does sort of speak to like how compatible are they really? Like he's literally from a different century. And it's like, I think that part of the problem with like Twilight and like Edward and Bella's relationship is that like they don't really know each other very well. Like in terms of like, what do you like to do? What's your favorite food? What's your, what's your favorite color? Like they have a lot of.
Human blood is my favorite food.
Yeah. Like they have a lot of, like they share a little bit of their interests and stuff, but they have more like trauma bonding than anything else.
Yeah.
And they don't really start to settle down and settle into themselves and their relationship until like Breaking Dawn.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, they're already married. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, where it's like, Edward is doing that proposition, and then Bella's kind of like, what? kind of thing. But I think it's also sort of like, to Bella, it's not about the piece of paper or like the marriage ceremony or the ring or any of that. It's about simply that she wants to be with him, and that's it. But the marriage piece of it matters to Edward.
Yeah, and that's where I think like, that should have been, in my opinion, like an easy compromise. It's like Edward doesn't think highly of the vampire life, whereas Bella does.
Yeah.
Bella doesn't think highly of the married life, whereas Edward does.
Yeah.
So, give and take.
Yeah, I think that is part of it for sure. But I think it's also like interesting, like an interesting conundrum, because obviously like becoming a vampire is like you're literally changing your whole life. But also like, so is kind of marriage, and like, at least with these stakes, a lesser sense.
Mm-hmm.
But because to Bella, I think there's a lot of weight to that. Like there's a lot of weight to like being married to somebody. But to your credit, like what you're saying is that like regardless, like she wants to be with Edward, so it kind of shouldn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Like I get like her apprehension.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like, yeah, it's in a way a compromise for them. And I think that was Edward's way of trying to compromise like as much as he could.
I think the compromise is definitely like in Bella's favor.
Oh yeah, because Bella still ultimately gets mostly of what she wants, and Edward also gets what he wants in the sense of like he gets to be with Bella forever.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the idea of like condemning her.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing. That's where like their viewpoints don't match up at all, like because Bella doesn't think that is even a problem. Like not only does she not care, but she simply doesn't even acknowledge that to be like a truth.
Yeah.
Where Edward obviously does like acknowledge that to be like a moral truth to him. So that's like a very like I guess you can kind of like that kind of can symbolize like, at least in our world of things, like an atheist versus someone who's like religious. It's like one person holds like this God or these gods or these teachings in high value, where an atheist may or may not like denounce those sorts of things. And it's kind of similar with like the idea of like vampirism. It's like Bella doesn't think like that has anything to do with your soul, right? It's like your soul is attached to like who you are as a person, and like how you perform as a person and what you do, and your actions speak louder, than like who you are. Like just the fact that you're biologically engineered to like kill things doesn't necessarily mean that you're terrible, especially given like the Cullens, right? It's, I don't know, like the Cullens actively try to not kill people, right?
Right. So let's briefly give some love to the wolves. Like, what did you originally think of them in comparison to vampires? Because they were introduced, in New Moon, right? They weren't mentioned.
Well, besides
in Twilight, besides the story,
no, not really.
Like even in the book, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. I think. I did kind of still think that like the vampires were kind of like OP.
Yeah, for sure. I think like it's cool that like werewolves exist to be a kind of natural enemy to the vampires, but
yeah.
I mean, vampires are still OP.
Yeah. They really are.
I feel like, I don't know, Seth Meyer should have given the werewolves like maybe one more thing about the werewolves that would maybe like stand in comparison to vampires.
Yeah, because I mean they can match them more or less with when it comes to speed.
And I was gonna say like numbers.
Yeah.
Like they have numbers, like, you know, they run in packs.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you have like
And that's very
the Volturi,
advantageous.
it's just like
yeah.
numbers are not relevant anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But also they're still like helpful. Like they're kind of a boost to like the Cullens, like especially in like Breaking Dawn.
The wolves?
The wolves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When they stand with the Cullens, yeah, of course.
But obviously like as an enemy, problematic. But I don't know. I feel like overall, like I don't really have a problem with like the wolves. But yeah, definitely OP. Like for sure, vampires, wolves, like the whole lore and stuff behind it is interesting, I think. Like when Jacob's explaining like the whole like history of like them being more shapeshiftery than actual like, you know, werewolves.
Didn't Alex explain that in Breaking Dawn when she came back? That's how they found out. That's how we found out they were shapeshifters, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I remember that.
I remember, like, you know, it was when the Volturi were facing off against the Cullens and all the witnesses, and then Alice came back with another, like, half vampire, half human, and she said something about the wolves being shapeshifters.
Well, I think that, like, we're thinking of two different things, because, like, Billy, I'm pretty sure, told them around the fire pit about, like, the story of, like, the tribe. But, like, Alice, I think, did say something about, like, the wolves actually being shapeshifters, because Aro says something about it.
In the books?
I think in the movie, but it's a deleted scene.
Oh, okay.
Where he says that.
Yeah, I must not have seen it.
He mentions that like the werewolves are more shapeshifters than they are like to traditional traditional werewolves. Which I guess in canon, real werewolves exist then, where like these wolves like in Twilight
posers.
Are actually just like shapeshifters. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Imposters.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like I think I don't. The wolves serve a weird purpose in the sense of like they're obviously like supposed to run off the vampires and stuff, but it's like it is a bit conflicting for sure, because you're like they're not like really the big bads, you know, of like the Cullens, like for like villains and stuff. Like they're not really like they're antagonistic, but they're not like the villains of Twilight.
The Cullens were never antagonistic.
No. The wolves, like the wolves are like kind of antagonistic, like towards the Cullens, because obviously they're vampires, right? But they're not like the big bad villain,
right?
Really,
not the overarching villain.
Yeah, which I would say like that's the Volturi, but it's just like they just serve like a kind of a middle ground kind of like purpose. You don't know 100% like how to feel about them some of the time.
I get it, because like they're not killing anyone except for vampires, so
yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's anything morally wrong about them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just generally like if Jacob like wasn't like if Jacob and Bella like weren't involved really in this whole situation, like the wolves would have absolutely no fucking like part in this at all. So it's, I don't know, it's interesting. Like if Jacob just was doing his thing and Bella was doing her thing, like they wouldn't have intersected all that much because of like the treaty with the Cullens. But yeah,
I think they still would have intersected, but it wouldn't have been as intense because Jacob wasn't. It's not that love triangle, but they still have concern over like the Cullens and like them potentially turning Bella, which would break a treaty.
Yeah. It's like they would still be there, but it wouldn't be like as like obvious, because this is really like the only movie like the wolves like get like a real like this is like their introduction, and like this is also like their movie, where like Twilight and the rest of them like is really centered on the vampires, right? And then the wolves are kind of like a afterthought.
Yeah. This is their time to shine.
How do you feel about Edward like leaving Bella, and then at the end of it they're like together again? How do you feel about what happened?
Thank God Edward is back. The day is saved.
Jesus.
All is well. Team Edward for life. No, I mean, I could see how fucking flip-floppy, traumatizing that whole experience can be, and how like problematic that is. And I say it jokingly, but ultimately, like, I am glad he's back, but like they do have to like very much work through that.
Yeah, that's definitely
like if it happened in today's age, yeah, they got to work through that.
Yeah. Do you think Twilight would have been like? Do you think Twilight even would have been like made, like if it were written now and then produced and
oh gosh, I don't
like would it even have gotten like as much traction as it did?
No, because I think people would cancel it real quick.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
No, I think it would get that initial traction, and then but it would be a sharp decline because of the people canceling it, pointing out all the problems about it.
It's definitely possible, yeah. I feel like, I don't know, it probably wouldn't have happened, or maybe at least wouldn't have like as big of an impact like culturally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bella getting back with Edward. I don't know. I'm definitely Team Edward. But, like, especially now with, like, being older and watching Twilight, I'm very much like, you're all dumb. Like, all of you are fucking stupid.
I think it's for me, like, I never stopped rooting for them, so it's just like...
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the movie and the books want you to root for them.
Right.
You know, it's like, that's the couple, right? That's the pairing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, like Edward does sort of kind of like grow a little bit, where, you know, he kind of asks Bella like, oh, like, can you forgive me? Like, Charlie's not going to forgive me. Like, can you forgive me? And then like Bella kind of obviously forgives him, but like that doesn't seem earned at all.
I guess in their relationship, it doesn't matter because she gets what she wants.
Yeah, but that's unhealthy in a different way. It's not terrible, but it's not great.
Yeah, because there's still two people that want to be with each other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, like, they still are choosing to be with each other. Edward royally fucked up, and I don't think that he's going to make that mistake again. But like, he also shouldn't have made it in the first place.
Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, more or less. There's more to come in Eclipse and Breaking Dawn.
Oh, yes. So until then, y'all know what's coming. You better hold on tight, spider monkeys.